Hello friends, welcome to another episode of HPA Global Insights. This is kind of an on-the-road show. As you can see behind me, I'm not in my home office. I've come out here today to Nutrabolt headquarters in Austin, Texas to attend the ISSN conference here. I'm very excited. There's a really great lineup of speakers, so let's head in and check it out.
So today I talked about, of course, whey protein derived exosomes and how there is more to whey protein than just leucine potentially being a potent anabolic stimulus, of course, and it functioning as sort of a whole protein being a lot better than just a single amino acid, and that these other bioactives in whey protein are a lot more, or should be appreciated a lot more than what they currently are. And of course that they hold promise with, of course, gut health, endothelial health, and as well as muscle health as well. Take whey protein as a whole, and right, you know, it was always thought that leucine was the primary anabolic amino acid, which is very true, and some people would argue, well, you need all the other essential amino acids to also help facilitate said growth. Well, we investigated that, and then of course we added in the whey protein, isolated out the whey protein or the whey protein derived exosomes, and what we're starting to see primarily is maybe that these exosomes help suppress some of the growth suppressors, if you will, kind of shut them off, and then allowing maybe some of the peptides and other amino acids come in and help kind of give it a leg up, if you will, sort of push up the hill to kind of help facilitate additional protein synthesis. So I think, again, I think it's kind of like you take a fish from the sea, it's not going to survive out of water too long. And I think that's the same thing, is like it's only, you know, when you isolate just certain things, I think appreciating it as a whole becomes a lot more important for overall function.
This has been a dream thing for me. I mean, I am not an instructor like so many of these amazingly brilliant professors and researchers, but to combine industry research with academics and really get that integration for application, and then also kind of the next generation of people like me that like the science but want to get in industry to kind of create that environment. to create this kind of event that hosts it here. We integrate. We brought these are the rock stars of rock stars in exercise science. Dr. Jeff Stout alone, him and Dr. Rick Kreider, over 30,000 citations each. I mean, it's insane. And so everybody that's out there in the social media world that talks about ingredients has been researched almost 90% by this group. So it provides for the graduate students and undergrad students that are in the space to get continuing education. So it's very practical in that sense. Mm-hmm. I wanted it to be an applied conference, so we could talk science, but then what's the application for those that don't have a PhD in this but want to learn? So from an industry standpoint, to get the salespeople and the marketing people and those folks to understand the ingredients and why people like me at companies push for the substantiation, like, is it real? But yeah, it's a wonderful event. So honored that I was able to get this crowd here, and it's been very, very well attended, and so super happy with it. So this is the one and only. There's only one other company I can tell you that has what I've created. This is one of two of the Nutrabolt applied physiology labs where I do proof of concept testing. So I file for IRBs, so clinical trial approval. We run clinical trials out of this laboratory to do proof of concept. So whether we're trying to, in some cases, they heard today about some new ingredients, and so there's times where I'll do pilot testing, I'll do tests on new ingredients. There's a product called C4 Alpha Bomb that we launched with GNC exclusively last year, using a new ingredient that I had worked with and got us exclusive licensing on, and we had done 3 studies in my labs. I've got another one in Arkansas near Bentonville. And so we can do everything. We can do metabolic testing, VO2 testing. This device here, if you're a Rocky IV fan, and remember Drago, this is to look at force outputs and power and fatigue. We can do reaction time. We can look at muscle activation. We've got body composition, the gold standard level of what's called a 5-compartment, that includes the DEXA and includes these other tests. But I made it very practical in the sense of, from a structure function substantiation, like how could we quickly assess new ingredients, changes in formulation, new formulations, working with raw material companies. So for this audience, one of the things I always invite is that, hey, if you've got new ingredients that you want to partner with somebody, that's what my role is to go find those new ingredients that we can get exclusivity. Maybe it doesn't have enough research on it. Well, you could partner with us. We could do studies internally. We fund the Auburn lab, Dr. Mike Roberts' laboratory there, where we also do more proof of concept and innovation testing. So I use this to speed up and accelerate product development. We have done 9 studies since I started the first lab, and now with this one open, we can increase that. It's cool. It's a fun toy land. I get to, I get to coach and holler at folks and see if things work.
Edge and will work, and you guys are there doing it.
So great point. So McKinsey and Company in their 2024 report showed that compared to 2020 people were looking at, is it organic? Is it grass-fed? Is it have it been tested in unicorns? I mean, whatever the things that were interesting. In 2024, and you can go ahead and put the math together on why this big shift happened, over 60% shift in the consumer in our target demo want to see, does the product do what it says it's supposed to do? And so we're way ahead of the curve on that. I would love to see more companies include valid testing. We will do our studies. We do IRB approvals, which is to make sure it's ethical and informed consent, and that so I can publish at scientific conferences. Gives my chance for my interns to also then the next crop of scientists for our industry, right? We got to excite them the same way I got excited about it by seeing people like Dr. Kreider, and seeing like, oh, I can make a profession out of this and do the science and learn and keep investigating and learning. And if we don't have that as an industry, we're dead. I mean, we're just going to keep recycling fashion trends. And so, yeah, this is a great toyland. I cannot be more grateful to Doss Cunningham, our CEO and founder, my boss, Mike DiMaggio, who many of you may know as one of the attorneys in the
Doctor of Law.
A doctor of law. So yeah. And longtime friend. And so they give me a lot of support and a lot of autonomy to do a lot of really cool first to market stuff and take what my mentors instilled in me, and hopefully I can do the same for other folks and see somebody move it forward. So as from an industry standpoint, as a trade association, you know, it would be far better. And this is why I went back for a PhD after being in industry, is I realized that to sit there with the regulators and your lawmakers, it can't be, this is my opinion, I take this stuff and I think it works. They really, you know, need more actual real science, real published research. And so that's what we're doing.
So yeah, I presented on genetics-directed training and nutrition, and it was a challenge to condense a lot of, you know, my thoughts into the time allotted. But I think the key takeaways, you know, really that last slide, which is like, hey, genetics matter, but genetics alone, just the DNA sequence, is not enough to explain the variation that we see in response to a given training or diet intervention. Things like epigenomics, transcriptomics, metabolomics, the class of omics, I think that's the future, and we need to be able to provide more real-time insight for decision making same day, and I think that's the way that we do it. An analogy I gave during the talk was that genetics is kind of like the forecast, but the actual weather is the phenotype, the expression. So we need to understand that difference and better predict the actual weather same day.
So today at the ISSN Nutrabolt conference, I spoke on a subject matter called Fit to Fight. Fit to Fight the presentation looked at what metrics we need to determine if a fighter can make a given weight in their weight class. So for example, if they fight at 135 and they have 12 weeks before the fight, we have certain measurements that we use today to determine if it's going to be feasible, or if they're even going to be able to perform. And those metrics just include how much total weight they have to go to make their weight class, how much body fat they have, how much different training strategies they use on a daily basis. And we put all these metrics together, and we help the fighter determine, can they make the weight, and if they can make it, what's the best practice and how they're going to do it.
So most of what I was talking about today was biomarkers, how we use them in monitoring athletes in particular, but also in military application. And it was really getting at the intricacies of it. I think it's been oversimplified a bit, and there's a lot of people that think they know how to interpret hormonal and biochemical data, nutritional data, and they're really not well trained in it. So really the purpose of today was to kind of talk through some of the things you need to think about, right? So it's what questions are you asking and why? Are you looking at biomarkers that matter, right? Things that make a difference in terms of performance, in terms of health, and also understanding that health and performance aren't mutually exclusive, right? The best ability is availability. So the more we can keep an athlete on the field, on the court, in the pool, whatever it is, the more games we're probably going to win. And so we really talked about the effect that monitoring biomarkers has to move beyond just training load and use training load as part of the context, use sleep data and things like that, but it really helps you capture the overall stress that an athlete's dealing with. And so when you can do that, you can really make some meaningful changes. And I think when you consider how it gets applied, it really needs to be measured in a way that can influence preparation, right? If it's just confirmatory, oh yeah, we're good, we're not good, whatever it is, but it doesn't change how you train or help you understand that you really are ready, right? So you're hitting your taper at the right time, you're looking at an optimal peak, say for the Olympics that we just went through, whether you're talking Super Bowl, World Series, it's where are we in the grand scheme of things in terms of system readiness, And I think that's where the biomarkers can really come out to play in terms of being able to track those kinds of things.
Today we talked about bioactives that you would find in dairy products and how it affects physiological markers. So people typically think that dairy is associated with these high quality amino acids and perhaps vitamin D and calcium, things like that, but we're beginning to find out that dairy has exosomes which carry cargo, and when you consume something like milk or whey protein, these exosomes can target tissues and cause meaningful effects in some of the way that those cells in the tissues express their genes. So this is a really new, exciting frontier that we're going to continue to explore. Our collaborator is Dr. Chris Lockwood here at Nutrabolt, and hopefully one day we can really refine our research as well as find ways to enrich products with these bioactives.
A lot of great ingredients. Dileucine is now the new gold standard for muscle protein synthesis. It yields about 60% more MPS than standard leucine. 145% more strength, 159% more muscle protein synthesis versus placebo, 200% increase in muscular endurance. So that's been exciting. It's 185% faster. That's a big way that it probably works. We're diving into more of the mechanisms, but speed and using the PEP1 transporter is very important. Paraxanthine is going crazy. That's the metabolite of caffeine. Absolutely crushes caffeine across the board. Kim Kardashian just launched her new energy drink brand update around paraxanthine. We have ultra pouches, the oral pouches that's taken off. So paraxanthine is just huge right now.
What's the advantage there against caffeine in terms of why it's superior?
About 60% of us are slow metabolizers of caffeine with the CYP1A2 gene. And that means most of us experience the side effects of caffeine, but very little of the benefits. With paraxanthine, it's not even just the metabolite of caffeine. Caffeine is really the dirty precursor to paraxanthine. Paraxanthines are true active, the true nootropic. There's basically no habituation, no adaptation. It increases BDNF, increases blood flow to the brain, increases glutathione and catalase, decreases oxidative stress, decreases beta amyloid plaque, increases neuroplasticity, increases cognitive resilience, decreases mental errors. It is very experiential and very different. In every study, we put it head to head with caffeine, and it absolutely destroys it. Those are both out. Paraxanthine is under the brand name Infinity through TSI, and dileucine is under the brand name DL185 and through NNB. And another big ingredient that's taken off for me is dihydroberberine. That's the super berberine. It's about 5 to 20 times more bioavailable than berberine. Lasts twice as long in the plasma, less GI distress, increases GLP-1 transiently, but actually inhibits the DPP4 enzyme, so it hangs around actually a lot longer than you may think. And we're just seeing tremendous benefits. It works on the AMPK pathway, so there's longevity benefits, anti-inflammation, dyslipidemia benefits, and of course, blood glucose and metabolic benefits.
Hi guys, I'm here with two cool people I met here at the event, Hayden and Diana.
Yeah, I think personally what stuck out the most to me was everyone's ability to speak and present in a way that's understandable. There were so many different topics, and there was so much that was, there's just so much information, right? But each speaker had the ability to take a very complex, topic and break it down into something that was easily understandable and digestible, really.
Yeah. I really just like being in a room full of researchers. That's such a unique experience, and also just everyone is under the umbrella of health and wellness, but they're all coming from different lenses, whether they agree completely or not. It's just cool to hear different perspectives based on the studies they're doing, and what objective it is that they're trying to study. So I just like the overwhelming knowledge that was presented today. I think was really cool.
I what I love about that the most is that there's a lot that you may hear on a podcast or on a YouTube clip or full video on whatever it may be, that some of that information from what you hear in talks like this is off, right? Whether they're talking about creatine or whether they're talking about recommendations on something else, like you said, hearing it from the horse's mouth, you understand, oh, okay, this is actually how it's supposed to be versus what somebody said on a video I saw a month ago or what have you.
All right, dudes. Thanks so much.
Hey, I want to thank everyone for coming to the ISSN Nutrabolt event at the Nutrabolt headquarters. We had a slate of super great speakers, some of the best talks you'll ever hear. But also I want to mention that the ISSN National Conference will be in Fort Lauderdale Beach, June 17 to 19. It is 2.5 full days of some of the best sports nutrition and sports supplement science there is. So put that on your calendar, and I hope to see you there.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this ISSN event. We were privileged to have these brilliant minds in sports nutrition come here and speak and educate us today on emerging science, and new studies. Just absolutely incredible to have them here today. This was the kind of the epitome of what Nutrabolt is about, and we're excited to be able to host today. Thank you.
All right, well, that was awesome. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe, thumbs up, all that great stuff. There was a lot of great presentations. And then they have a big event coming up, as you saw from Dr. Antonio talking about their event coming up. So thanks again. See you next time. Bye.